Welcome to this talk on tool interoperability in model-based systems engineering. Basically, this is a post-session recording of my talk at the INCOSE International Symposium 2018 in Washington, D.C. And there was so much positive feedback that I just like to get it out into the community. Yeah, my name is Christoph Bergner. I'm the owner of MID, a mid-sized company based in Germany and Switzerland. We're specialized on building modeling tools and modeling methodologies. So what have we done? My team, myself, we've built a platform, SmartFacts, that basically integrates three categories of tools. Number one being the classical modeling tools for UML, SysML, BPMN, all those notations. We know them all: MagicDraw, Enterprise Architect, Matlab, Innovator, Rhapsody, Integrity Modeler, all those tools. Number two being the category of collaboration tools, currently very popular as Jira, Confluence, and Stackfield. And number three being the category of ALM platforms, and we have picked one example here, IBM Jazz, with its tools, Doors Next Generation, Rhapsody, Quality Manager, and Team Concert. We have picked IBM Jazz because it's very advanced in using OSLC as a technology, and when it comes to tool interoperability, OSLC is really a brilliant way to do that. The concept behind SmartFacts has basically two parts. Number one, we want to be able to bring any model into one easy to use web-based environment. So the idea is everybody keeps working in his tool of choice, but whenever you come to a point where you say, well, now I want to share my model with others, you just use a little visit to publish it to SmartFacts and to provide access to a larger group of people, to do team collaboration, to do link building across tool boundaries, to do analysis and all that kind of stuff. So all post-authoring actions. And if we're able to do that, if we're able to bring all that content into one web-based environment, and if we're able to normalize all that information, then there's a second step that seems very attractive, and that means we want to use that information in any other work environment. And there are very interesting technologies now available like REST and OSLC to do that. And when I say any other work environment, then I mean, of course, platforms like Jira, Confluence, IBM Jazz, or even the modeling tools themselves. And how that's going to look like, I would like to show you in a demo. So let's go ahead. So here we are now in the platform in SmartFacts. Yes, as I said, it's a web-based platform and should be really easy to use for everybody to access model-based content. And when I say easy to use, then such a platform should have only one button, right? And we made it here. We have only one button in the surface, and we access a really extensive picker. So this is a control that allows to access content in various ways. Like I can use my favorites. I can use search to search across all models and all versions. I have a navigation tree. There's various analysis mechanisms I can use, as well as a history of the artifacts I have accessed before. So I can use all this, and I'd like to just step into the navigation tree. This is basically a global tree of the whole model warehouse and shows all models that ever have been published. That's that instance here. There's about 2 million model elements now online in this instance, and you see there's various models like Irwin, Innovator, RS, Regev requirements packages, Enterprise Architect, Rhapsody, MagicDraw, Matlab, Simulink. So there's everything we know. And you see all these models have been published in various versions. Like here, there's obviously 4 baselines that have been published of that version. And I just step in version 3 and navigate down into the content until I get down to an artifact that might be interesting. So this is the original model tree you would also have in your authoring tool. And actually I can flip between the graphical view and the metadata view. So when we publish a model, then we take everything we find inside the model, all the model data, the class, the attribute, the tag value, all the relationships, and we transform the original diagrams into SVG. So this scales really well and is a crystal clear representation of the information. Okay, so let's just search for something across the whole platform. Actually, I'm still in Washington. I'm still accessing this information from the US, and the server is in Germany. So still, this is a very good performance. I think I can flip through the hit list, and actually, what I was looking for is quite this diagram, but not exactly. So might be a good idea to just click into the breadcrumb down here, just into the last segment, and this takes me back into the global model warehouse tree, and I can examine the neighborhood of this diagram. And actually, this one is what I was looking for. So let's load that into the platform. Yes, as I said, so this is really SVG. It scales very well. I can easily zoom in and out and pan and so on. I can extend the details pane here, and I can even click into the diagram, and I get all the model data that's associated actually with this task here. If I look into the details, then there's also a referenced by row, and that tells me where this element here is actually embedded in other diagrams. There's 4 diagrams that embed this element, and so if I click into the lanes, then I will get an extensive enterprise architecture diagram. Here is the diagram we were referencing, and up here there's Archimate. Here on the right side, this here is entity relationship. Down here we have UML, we have BPMN. So all in one instance. So it actually doesn't really matter which notation you use. Simply everything that can be authored in one of the tools we support can also be published to SmartFacts. Important to know is that we are always only one click away from the original authoring tool. So having loaded the diagram in SmartFacts, I can call up the original tool with just one click, and here I'm in the authoring tool, can do my changes and push another baseline to SmartFacts. Okay, so now I'd like to draw your attention to these link icons. If I click on one of them, then I will get all the links shown that are targeting this element here. These link icons are not part of the original diagram. We add them when there is a link. A link has been added, an OSLC link or an SmartFacts internal link has been added. So I expand the details, and here we see this element links into a MagicDraw diagram, and down here we'll also link into an enterprise architect diagram. So let's open that one. Here I click onto that, and I also load that into the platform. Okay, now we have Innovator on the left and Enterprise Architect on the right side, and we have some visual traces, and establishing these traces is really easy. I click something on the left, I click something on the right, and I just say add link, and now I get all the details of that link. I can select a certain link type and say, well, generate that link. And here we have the new link. These links have direction, type, and status. So when something changes on the left side, then it depends on the type of the link and how you have configured the link, but the change may be propagated to the right side, and the right side may be set to suspect. And then you have actually a suspect board, a validity board that tells you what it actually is the causing elements and what is the suspect element. So that is very easy to keep track of changes and how they affect a linked element. So there's many different types of information we can actually um, pull into the platform. Down here, I have some requirements packages, and these are just references into a Doors Next instance, and I load them. This doesn't mean actually that I load requirements, but I reference into Doors Next requirements. I select a module, and here are the details. I can expand those now. And here you see that we can also, just as we can maintain traces between two diagrams, we can also maintain those traces between textual requirements and visual models. So that's really neat. And as we have a tabbed browsing, I can always flip between those two views and open up all the context I need to actually evaluate a certain situation. Okay, so in the next step, I'd like to show you one more use case. I mean, there's many more interesting things to show, but version diff, that's something really interesting. So we'd like to understand how a model actually has evolved over time. And so I just select a model here. I select two versions, version number 1 and version number 4, and I say, SmartFacts, calculate the differences. And here we are, 38 diagrams have been changed over time. So between those two versions, I have 38 diagrams that got changed, and I can drill into such a diagram and I'll get some more information. So this one, actually 2 elements got added, 3 got deleted, and 2 were changed. So I say, well, that's interesting, but I'd like to know the details. And here we load now both versions, version 1 on the left and version 4 on the right. And you see, we actually even colorize those diagrams. We have something red here, so that was deleted. We have something green on this side, it was added, and we have something blue here that obviously got changed. And if I want to really understand everything, I can flip through and I get a highlight. Here this port also got deleted, this element got deleted, and this one got deleted. So it's very convenient to flip through the changes. And interesting that the port got changed, but we don't really know what has actually changed and why it is set to change. So let's just click the lens, and here we get the details. I have a details pane here with version 1, a version 1 column and a version 4 column, and I get a highlighting that the description actually has changed. I just click on the diff, and here is are both versions of the description, and I can actually understand what has changed. And now I'd like to do with you the next step of the concept. So step number 2, how can we bring all that content into any other environment by building links, right? And so let's build some links between Doors Next and Rhapsody. Let's build links between Doors Next and MagicDraw. Here we're going to link to a diagram and to a model element inside a diagram, and then we're also doing a link from MagicDraw into Rhapsody. For all this, we'll use OSLC. We'll use the delegated search and select UIs to identify link targets, and we're using OSLC to make any content visible in any other tool. Okay, so let's go. So here I am in Doors Next now, and let's go ahead and build some links. I've selected a requirement 1051, and here we want to build a trace into MagicDraw now. Let's use a traced by architecture element. And what you see here is exactly the picker you know already from SmartFacts. So it's my personal picker, it's my favorites, it's my history. I can search, I can navigate, I can use all analysis mechanisms to identify a target, a link target. So I have prepared already one. Let's use this one. And number 1, build the first link to the diagram. And now in the second one, let's do something more sophisticated. And now I want to link to an element inside the diagram, so this one. Okay, and now let's build the third link to Rhapsody. I must have some Rhapsody stuff here. Okay. So I have built 3 links, and now let's check using the rich hover. So number 1 was linking to the MagicDraw diagram. I can zoom in. So number 2 was linking to the artifact inside the MagicDraw diagram, and here I'll get only a property grid, of course, because I've linked to a model element, but I can click on the lens here on the referenced by element, and here I get the information where actually I have linked to. And then if I do the rich hover here on the Rhapsody stuff, then I'll get the Rhapsody artifact. Okay, great. And now let's have a look what has happened inside the authoring tools. Here I am in MagicDraw now, and as you can see, we have built a little plugin into MagicDraw that allows to use the most important features of SmartFacts inside MagicDraw. And this also means that when I focus a MagicDraw diagram, then our plugin asks SmartFacts, what do you know about that diagram? And now as we have added 2 links to this diagram, there should be something in here. And actually, yes, here we get the message that there are 2 traced by architecture element links, and I can expand that. And when I do that and do the rich hover, then I get the detail of that link to 1051, exactly the artifact from where we have built that link. So that's pretty cool, right? Okay, so now let's do our next link, our link number 3. And here I have prepared already the 2 diagrams, the MagicDraw on the left and Rhapsody on the right. And let's just build a link from this element here to this element here. And we say add link. We select an is equivalent link type and we generate that link. Okay, so let's see what happens here. We change the focus to the diagram again, and the plugin tells us there is one more link, the is equivalent link. I can expand that, and here, right, that's what I have actually built. And now what we can do here, we can just say, well, open the local viewer, and this will open Rhapsody inside MagicDraw now. So isn't that awesome? So I can actually follow any trace. I can follow a trace to a textual requirement, to a graphical model, and I can even open foreign formats inside a tool. So that's pretty neat. And of course, I can also jump into the Rhapsody model tree. Now here I am in the original Rhapsody model tree, and I can consume all that information inside MagicDraw. So there's really a seamless integration of various models even within the tools. So I'm coming to an end now. Coming back to OSLC, we've done a lot of work in that space, and I'd just like to show you 3 more use cases. For instance, here I've built a link into Jira. So we have built an OSLC CM provider for Jira that allows to reference any Jira content from any tool environment, like the modeling tools like MagicDraw, like Doors Next, as shown here. Then something really interesting is, of course, referencing from any modeling tool into PLM systems and CAD. And then, of course, a very important tool also in engineering is MS Excel. So it's possible to publish Excel to SmartFacts and reference it from any environment. I can even calculate on those sheets. So the full set of features of MS Excel is available also via delegated UI and OSLC. Good. So if you're interested in more, let's do a one-to-one session and see what really fits your needs. I'm happy to take any calls and emails from your side. Thank you.